important topics from economic survey for preliminary examination 2022. This COVID or this whole series would be about all these tables and all these graphs. GS paper 3. So look at how they have. This is one more question. So I have this question series. So if you think about it, that is what the question also aims to ask you. And this is from Ramesh Singh. This is the article which is talking about. If you think about it, this is what is where they asked about what is the area, or this is industrial output. So of that manufacturing. So you think about in a simple fashion, you and the government will consume study, and this is a GS paper 3 question. GS paper, and usually export minus in a sense in this current account, what is there in this current account. So we will continue with this economic survey series, and as we have been discussing how to approach schemes, or how do you study schemes in a simple fashion. What I would suggest is that to look into all the schemes which are being referred in economic survey. So don't go now again, don't go search in what and all schemes are there. So that is what in this video it will be. So look at all these schemes and address all the things which are necessary, and you will be able to have a better understanding of answering these questions inside the hall. So the first scheme which I want to talk about is this Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. So Pradhan Mantri is the Prime Minister, Kisan means a farmer. So usually these schemes are named in Hindi. So if you're a person who knows Hindi, you will have a better chance of writing these questions. But if you are not knowing also, please know the meanings of these words. So Pradhan Mantri is Prime Minister, farmer. Samman Nidhi is kind of a dignity, or kind of an amount for dignity. So what the scheme, so understand one thing very clearly. When you are talking about a scheme, you should always think about some very few things only. You cannot remember every little detail of the scheme. So what you have to know is what is the objective of the scheme. There will be so many schemes. The primary difference between all these schemes would be that what is the objective that the scheme is referring to, and who are the beneficiaries, because each scheme will target something. So they will target an objective. So in order to accomplish that target, you would have to have a set of beneficiaries, and that is what you should look at. For example, this Kisan Samman Nidhi, they are targeting farmers. This is the point that you should have an understanding. The objective is for improving the dignity of the farmers, means so the beneficiary is farmers. Next category that you should have or look into is that, see, they are giving, okay, this is the scheme. So this is the character. So objective, beneficiary, and the character is distributing 6,000 rupees per year. So if UPSC can ask 6,000 rupees per installment, they can say. So they can have this word play and make a confusion in your mind, but it is 6,000 per year, equally distributed in 3 installments. So per year they are giving. But the important feature that I want you to notice that, see, it was earlier for small and marginal farmers. See, this is what I want you to focus in UPSC. Do not focus on things which are unnecessary, because this material and so many things, they give so many unnecessary things. You should have that eye for taking only the necessary fact. And this is how for many had asked how to prepare in the last stage. Last stage is you having key analysis or keywords. So you cannot read the complete book and all. The keywords you should look at, like for example, see this farmers are there, small and marginal farmers. That is the point. So what are small and marginal farmers? That you should check in geography NCRT, but it is up to 2 hectares. And what are large farmers, you should check. But now if you see, The scheme is extended to all land holdings. See, now you don't have any so effect from 2019. Now you don't have this effect of holding any or the conditions of this land is not there. Okay, so now look at it is for all land holding. So this is what you should look at. So next scheme, if you think about it, this Pradhan Mantri Garib. So in this corona it became a very big thing. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Garib means poor. Garib Kalyan is doing good. So Kalyan is, so you will know in Tamil it is Kalyanam, so it is good. So doing good to the poor. Anna means food. Anna means food. So in a sense, during the lockdown many did not have proper food. So providing food for the people who are poor, and they see this additional, that is the point. Already there is one thing. Already there is a scheme called as National Food Security Act. National Food Security Act, if you think about it, it covers, see, the again, so look at the point. How many people it is covering? It is covering nearly 67% of the population. In rural area, 75 in here. But if you think, it is not free. See, this is what you should know. It's not free. It is not completely free. See, they are charging around 5 kg per person per month. Okay, for priority household. At this is the rate. So they are giving 1 rupee, 2 rupee, respectively, for cereals, wheat, and rice. So see, what you should know is having not a free thing, but if you are seeing here, this Anna Yojana or this Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana is during the lockdown. So National Food Security Act is different, but during that lockdown, the food grains to 80 crore people. See, this is actually over. This is actually over than the thing which is promised in National Food Security Act. This is the point you should note. And here they in Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, they are giving it for free. So they, during the lockdown, you would have known this because as many migrant laborers went back to their homes and their jobs were lost, and hence the scheme was brought in as a very big transformation, and which has helped a lot. So which has helped and prevented poverty from deteriorating in a faster manner. This is the point that you should note. Next scheme that you should note is Ujjwala scheme. See, look at this. What is this Ujjwala scheme? There is one more Ujjwala scheme. I think it is for rehabilitation of women. So, but this is about energy security. This is about LPG cylinders. So, Ujjwala, and Ujjwala in Hindi is also light, or Roshni means what is that in Tamil? It is called Velicham. Okay, Ujjwala scheme. But the full form you should know. But see, look at this again. Now, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. What is this scheme? This is the point. There are two things I said. Ujjwala, one more thing is rehabilitation, but this is the most important. So, handing over LPG connections. So, Ujjwala is about this energy security. Initially, it was thought that 5 crore women members, BPL households initially, but now they have expanded it. See, now that is the point. Expanded it to a scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Anna Yojana, most backward, tea garden, forest dwellers, islands. See, there are so many categories into which now. So, if for example, somebody in an island earlier might not have had this LPG connection, but they would be out of this scheme because they might not have been below poverty line. But now a separate category island has been brought, so you would go, or the reach of LPG would be to the distant extent also. So that is how you should know. Next one more thing, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana. So Rozgar is employment. So, and see, I do not know, but anyways, every scheme is in Hindi, so you cannot do anything about it. But it's Rozgar is employment. Pradhan Mantri is Prime Minister. and it is for this scheme is for the 6 states. And if you think about it, this states these states are where this migrant laborers, this was the issue during that 2020 corona. During the lockdown, the migrant laborers had to go back to their home state, and when you go back to their home state, you have to have jobs for them, and that is the point. So once one you give them jobs, so if you think about it, this Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana, so you cannot see when somebody has been working for a very long time, they are protecting the family, and when they go back without any job, you have to first give them the job. So that will be given, and then see, when the jobs are given, you cannot give them the same salary as they were getting earlier. Hence, what you do, you have subsidized food. So subsidized food you will have. This subsidized food is what is this scheme? Under this National Food Security Act, they were given already this wheat and rice, but this Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. So they were 80 crore population was covered, and they were given free food of, not, you should not say free, subsidized food. So that was given, but this is not only enough. They had to be given MNREGA work or the non-skilled. So it is not a skilled labor. It is not skilled. If you think about it, this is the key thing that you should note in MNREGA. MNREGA is a question. They keep asking this question. UPSC, they have asked this MNREGA question in 2012, which is, so they were, and they CDS, this year CDS, they've asked if it is for urban area. In that 2012, they asked if it or if it covers all the people. That is, all the people in rural area can get the jobs, or all the BPL family can get the jobs. Whether only BPL family, this is what now you should check. Whether only the BPL family can get the job cards from MNREGA, or all rural people who are ready to do semi-skilled labor or non-skilled labor. So whether this is true, so you should look at that fact, and you should read that. In this CDS recently, they have asked if it is covering urban area. That is the point. See, when you're reading some scheme, please read with a very clear understanding. And hence, if you think about it, they have increased the wage, and that is what you should know. Next, one more important fact is that, see, look at this fact, MNREGA Act. So there was a question, I think one of the student asked the question, what is the difference between legal, that is legal right, okay, the legal right versus constitutional right. Constitutional right, there are three types, constitutional right, and then there is statutory rights. Statutory rights, there are so many, or this these terms are involved, and hence if you think about it, see, look at this fact, statutory is by law. That is the MNREGA Act. MNREGA Act, there is an act, and if you are 2005, if you are not getting jobs in this, you are statutorily, or statutorily they are government is obliged to give you the wage, even if you are not in a sense, if they are not giving jobs. So this is statutory right. What is this constitutional right? Anything, any right which is given to you in the constitution. Let us assume that there is a article 326. So this is constitutional right. Article 326 is right to vote. Correct? Right to vote. This is in constitution. This has been given to you as a right in constitution. There is a representation. So you can ask me, representation of People's Act 1951 is there. It is true. So you can say it is a statutory or legal right. But the UPSC has given this question already. They have given this question, and the key reads as constitutional right. So anything which is in constitution, you have to refer it to the right. But one more thing is there. One more thing is about the land rights. So one more thing is about the land rights. It was there in fundamental rights. Earlier, if you think about it, before 1978, 44th Amendment Act, it was in fundamental right. But now, if you think about it, it is now 300A. It is now a right outside fundamental right. So they are not called as fundamental right. So you cannot approach the Supreme Court. You cannot approach the Supreme Court under Article 32, which is the violation of fundamental right. You can have, which Dr. Ambedkar said, which is the most important part of, or important article of the Constitution, 32, where your fundamental right is violated and you go and ask for your remedy. But now, land, if somebody is taking, you cannot go approach the Supreme Court under Article 32. You have to go approach the court under your legal right. Now it is your legal right. Anyone, not only citizen, anyone whose land has been taken away by the government now can approach the court legally. Not it is not a constitution or not a fundamental right. So these are the difference. But one more important thing that you have to look at in this, see, key. This is the point. RBI. So there is RBI has this monetary policy. See, the monetary policy of RBI, if you think about it, what do they anchor it to? It is consumer price index. What do they anchor your RBI is the consumer price index. What do they anchor Mahatma Gandhi National Rural and they are the Rural Employment Guarantee Act, whether it is for urban? This was the CDS question. But look at this, it is Rural Employment Guarantee Act. And in a sense, they are tied to what? Consumer price index. So MNREGA, what is it tied? So that is what you should know. Consumer price index, but consumer price index, agricultural laborers. And now you have to go check the dearness allowance. So you can comment also. What is the dearness allowance of government employees, and to which inflation index it is covered? So this is the question now you should look. So MNREGA, it is agricultural labors. Now you and one more thing, look at it. It varies state wise. See, the wages are fixed. So wages are fixed by center, but the wages vary by state. Look at this very carefully. Okay. Now come to this, and okay. So one more thing is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. It is about Awas means house. That you should know, house. And there is urban. Urban. So one thing is in rural, one thing is in urban. And Kaushal Vikas. Kaushal means skill development. So Kaushal Vikas, skill development. See what they are doing: development of rural poor youth. Key. This is the point. Poor youth, skill development for all. No. See, it's not all. Rural self-employment training institutes, they are setting it up for the rural poor. So that is what you should. And Kalyan, so Kaushal. See, Kaushal Gramin is rural. So this is rural. Kaushal is skill. So that is the point. And one more thing, see, their Kisan credit card scheme they've asked. So I have made, in a sense, Kisan credit card in 2020. So there was a question in 2020, which read that Kisan credit card, if you think about it, they gave five statements. Okay, they gave five statements. Which are they said which of the following can be, or Kisan credit card can be used for which of the following? There are so many things, but one was long term, or I think two, 3 and 5. If you look at that 2020 question paper, two things were long term. See, Kisan credit card, credit is for today. Okay, today if the farmer has some problem, he can have so many personal loans, so many things. So that is the purpose of this Kisan credit card. It was used for reducing farmer suicide, or it was not used means it was brought for, because farmer suicide usually happened because of debt, and debt usually happened because of functions, family functions. This was a very like marriage. So this is a social phenomena which the government cannot stop. stop in a sense. So you have to have accommodative features for preventing that. So debt prevention, this Kisan credit card was has asked, but 2020, what you should know, long term. If you remove this is the answer would come when you remove these two things. You can check the 2020 question. So like that you should think. And one more scheme which I want you to look at is the Pradhan Mantri, again PM Swanidhi. Swanidhi is Swa means this Swa. It means self. Okay, self. Nidhi, everyone knows it is money. Okay, credit. Nidhi or Nidhi Amachar. Okay, Tamil. Swanidhi is self. So I want to, but look at what Swanidhi means, self loan for what? Urban street vendors. See, this is the point. For who? The beneficiary is who? That whether all? No. See, that is the point you should look. Next, Deen Dayal Antyojana Rural Livelihood Mission. This was earlier a prelims question. Now the names have been changed. It was earlier National Rural Livelihood Mission. Jivika, some Jivika Yojana it was, but now Deen Dayal Antyojana, National Rural Livelihoods Mission, they asked that they build companies. So what they said, in the question, they build companies for jobs. This is what they said. But look at this point. It is for rural poor women into self-help groups. Correct. They are not building companies. They are giving job opportunities, livelihood opportunities in the rural area by giving self-help groups. This is the point you should know. And now you come to this point. And this is the table which was there in economic survey. I want you to note a few things. The government bond. Government bond. This was a question this time, or 2021 they asked this question. 2021 there was a question of government bond. Look at this question. So if you closely watch this question, they are saying government bond was influenced by which? Actions of the United States Federal Reserve, actions of Reserve Bank of India, inflation, and short-term interest rate. Whether all, and answer is all three. See, bond yield means what output you are getting. This is the point. In simple terms, it's a complicated concept, but you don't get too much complicated. It's what output you get in terms of the input you give. And government bonds usually are very stable and sustainable, and hence they are in very much demand. But see what they are saying. They are saying which of the following influences actions of United Federal Reserve. So if you check this point, see, look at this point. The government yield is changing, right? The government yield is changing, and this is taper tantrum. Taper tantrum is nothing but in the 2008 financial crisis, the world went into a big crisis, and United States of America started printing dollars at a very high rate because they were in recession. They had to come out, and hence they started printing. But by the time in 2012 2013, they said that they were pulling out the dollar. They were going to reduce the dollar that was in the economy, because now they were out of the recession, but it was leading to, because and there is one more question. It is the most inflationary as well. See, your deficit, if you are filling it with the printing of more notes, it is most inflationary as well. And there is one more question in 2021 asking for this question, which is the most inflationary among the four options they gave, that is printing of more notes. And the USA had printed all these notes, and look at this fact. When it increases and you reduce, so you are reducing, and automatically the bond yield is decreasing or increasing. So it is getting influenced, right? The United States Federal Reserve, whatever it does, it is increasing or decreasing. Same way, if you think about it, our RBI, so our RBI, whatever, so inflation in our country, so this is inflation. So inflation also, look at it, it is influencing. That is the inflation and short term interest rate is influencing. So 1 and 3 is there. So you check the table, there is CPI inflation. It is there. This inflation will have an yield will have an influence on the bond yield. So it is there. And 1 and 3 is not there. See, this inflation, short term interest rate in India, primary factor is RBI and its monetary policy committee. Simple. So when this is true, this is true. It's 2 and 3 will always be same. So this is the answer. So D is the answer. And that is what I want you to check in this. And one more thing I wanted to check. So one more thing that I want you to check is external debt. See, external debt, what UPSC may give. So what UPSC may give, there is one more internal debt that we will see now. Okay, that also we are going to see. That is called as internal debt or public debt, or the in next video we will see this. But this external debt is the debt outside the country. As a percentage of GDP, internal debt is high. This is what you should know. Internal debt is high. External debt, see, sovereignty of a country, and if you think about it, even Sri Lanka, look at Sri Lanka's states right now. It is in the most very bad state of economy because the external debt is very high. So any country, if it has to be sovereign and powerful, it will always maintain an internal debt where they are going to use the money which is there in their market for their betterment. They are not going to depend on outside, because Sri Lanka, if you think about it, it is called as a debt trap. China, debt trap. China happens to, and that is a different thing. International affairs. China, through its this Silk Route, has this concept of debt trap, and whichever country they are going, they are making them in debt to themselves. But India, see, that is the point. So what primary thing that you have to note is the external debt is 20%, around 20% of the GDP. This is the key that you have to note. And so that is the point. One more thing. So one more last thing. The World Economic Outlook. So World Economic Outlook. See, this next question was, what do I do for reports? Again, like this thing that we were discussing, the programs that we are discussing. I would want you to look at World Economic Outlook, because it is there in Economic Survey, and it is released by IMF. It is released by IMF, not World Bank. Whether, see, UPSC, already I think there is a question. Whether it was released by World Bank or IMF, you should know. World Economic Outlook is IMF. And next is this, okay, next is this budget. We'll see. That is what we are going to see next is budget. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like this video. Please do share this video. Please do subscribe to Minds of Aspirant channel. And there is also a Telegram channel. So there is a Telegram link which is there in the description. Minds of Aspirant Telegram channel. You can just click that link and you can subscribe to it, and you can ask any of your doubts regarding preliminary examination, mains examination, interview, or any other doubt that you may have regarding UPSC. You can ask me in that, and I would be very happy to answer for that question. So please do subscribe to that as well. And thank you for watching this video, and this series will keep on continuing till preliminary examination. More such videos useful for civil services examination will be posted in this channel. Thank you.